Hey guys, Mark Daly with today's devotional. So thankful that I get to play a role in the development of the men in our church. I'm unqualified, but thank God I'm available and I've got His Word and I'm filled with His Spirit. So I'm here to share today's devotional and the gospel of Jesus. We're talking about in the big picture, asking of God and receiving. And there are tons of reasons why we ask God for something and don't get it. And so that's my whole concept of this lesson, is to remove roadblocks to receiving and actually look at the pattern and the things that we should do, how the power is released, and how God has taught us to receive from Him in His Word. But it seems that the church in many ways has relegated itself to being irrelevant because it is so blended with the world that you can't tell the difference between the two. I mentioned this before, but as Christians, we watch the same TV shows and the movies, we eat the same food and die from the same diseases, and this shouldn't be. Do we serve the living God? Do we serve a living God that's willing to get involved in every area of our lives? Jesus. Romans 12:1 says, "Therefore I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as living sacrifices, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will." Wow. I want you to think about that. It says, don't be conformed to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of our minds. So really, we should be thinking way different than we are. Oh yeah, I know that we call ourselves Christians, and we are. We may attend the church, and we do. We may even serve in the church, but there are so many ways that we are like the world. It's got to be difficult in many ways for God to see us like this. Thank God that He doesn't dwell on it, right? He sees us righteous and sanctified and holy and set apart. But the truth of the matter is, we need to be different. We're called a peculiar people, a holy priesthood, set apart for the work of God. But this act of sanctification is not one that God makes you do. It's one that we have to do willingly. So that means we have to look at things in our lives that conform too much to the pattern of this world and don't line up with the kingdom principles. And we need to willingly say, Lord, I want to let that go because I want more of you. So let's be committed not to be conformed to the pattern of this world, but to be transformed by the renewing of our minds, that we might be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will. We want to be fit for the Master's use. In John 15:22, it says, Jesus said, "If I had not come and spoken to them, they wouldn't be guilty of sin, but now they have no excuse for their sin. Whoever hates me hates my Father as well. If I had not," now this is important, "if I had not done among them the works no one else did," we're talking about miraculous signs here, "they would not be guilty of sin. As it is, they have seen, and yet they have hated both me and my Father. But this is to fulfill what is written in their law. They hated me without reason." So, if they hated Him without reason, and He is pointing to the miracles as a testimony to who He was, we should have the same testimony. We should be able to tell people, point to places in our lives where only God, things that only God could have done, to witness to our friends and our neighbors so that they would receive him in their fullness. And actually, they should be able to testify. We should be living such lives in their midst that they may not understand us, but they come to us when they need something miraculous. It's pretty awesome. Jesus said again in the 12th verse, "Verily, or truly, I tell you, whoever believes in me will do the works I have been doing, and even greater things than these, because I am going to the Father, and I will do whatever you ask in my name." Why is that, sir? So that the Father may be glorified in the Son. You may ask me for anything in my name, and I will do it. Pretty awesome, right? So I've said it before, I'll say it again. The world can't argue with signs and wonders. It can't argue with your personal testimony. But they need to see Jesus in us, right? Because we say, greater is he that's in us than he that's in the world. And they need to see this manifest in your life. Let me say and remind you, if you don't know who Smith Wigglesworth was, he was a plumber preacher. And he raised the dead on more than one continent. Documented. Why? Because he dared to believe this word and stand on it. Is there any chance that we could dare to believe everything in this word is true? You're not putting pressure on yourself. You're putting pressure on the word, and the word won't let you down. Guys, I love you. Have a great day.